hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, and Ben and Noel Bruning, B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has the horse-drawn streetcar heading down Main Street, USA. With the Matterhorn in the background, if you look closely, you can see the House of the Future covered by some trees. On the back it reads, Horse-drawn streetcar. The leisurely pace of Disneyland's horse-drawn streetcar keynotes the atmosphere of Main Street as guests enjoy a trip around the plaza and glimpse the magnificent Matterhorn. It's postmarked June 12, 1966, with an Anaheim cancel and a 5-cent gray George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1213. I assume they visit the park on Saturday, June 11, 1966, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 78 and a low of 62. Park attendance that day was 41,114. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Elmer Siebold of Elgin, Illinois. It reads, Dear Ada, Elmer, and family, having fun weekend vacation in L.A., commuting by jet of course, 40 minutes and tooling around in a red 66 Mustang. Disneyland is great as ever, saw the Lincoln figure, which was fabulous. We'll see Beverly Hills and Hollywood today. Weather is good. Everything going great for me. George Rahim. Looking at first-of-its-kind maps for March Map Maddness, let's look at the map, or Your Guide to Disneyland. Starting in 1965, the INA Insurance Company sponsored the Disneyland map, and that was the year the map changed from being a trifold brochure style to a multi-page stapled booklet. The edition I have in my collection is from the summer of '66. These early booklet guides from 1965 to 1967 all had the same cover. This included a black and white photo of Walt in the bottom left corner, and next to Walt, a familiar statement that you may have heard on last week's episode, reading, Welcome to Disneyland. All of us in the Magic Kingdom hope that your visit today will be a happy and memorable one. Your enjoyment of this and future visits is the first consideration of all Disneylanders. As you explore Disneyland, we suggest that you keep this guide with you. The information it contains has been prepared to help make your visit as pleasant an experience as possible. This is the same statement written on the early 1960s maps. Under that is a blue printed Walt Disney signature. To see one of the more unique features of these mid-60 maps, we'll look to the back pages of the map, which includes a 3-page index for the 33-page booklet. This alphabetical list of features includes attractions, services, information, shops, restaurants, exhibits, and entertainment. Looking at the beginning of the guide, there's a table of contents, followed by general information, and a guide to the A through E ticket system. This section is dedicated to the ticket book options available for sale, as well as a breakdown of what attractions were available for each ticket. The next 2 pages focus on a general map of Disneyland, showing guests where each land is, as well as the main entrance, parking lot, ticket booths, Disneyland Hotel, and the directions from the hotel to Long Beach and the Santa Ana Freeway, which could take you to Los Angeles or San Diego. There is also an illustration of the monorail on its track heading toward the hotel. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to enfieldpost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and enfieldpost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has fireworks exploding over Sleeping Beauty Castle. You can see guests on the drawbridge pointing towards the Matterhorn. On the back it reads, Fantasy in the Sky. Brilliant Fantasy in the Sky fireworks burst over the Disneyland Castle every summer evening as part of the show Disneyland After Dark. It's postmarked July 19, 1966, with a Santa Ana cancel and a 4-cent black and white Lincoln postage stamp, Scott number 1282. I assume they visited the park on Monday, July 18, 1966, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 84 and a low of 60. Park attendance that day was 35,522. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. L.V. Glassbrenner of Portland, Oregon. It reads, Dear Mom and Dad, hi. Got to Gladys's Saturday night. Went to Knott's Berry Farm Movie Land Wax Museum Sunday. Today we are at Disneyland. The weather here is real warm. Hope Dad is feeling better. Mom, did Pete say anything yet? Well, I guess we're going to Tijuana too, sometime this week. We're going to the beaches tomorrow. We're also going by the movie stars' homes, etc. Jack and Sue are leaving tomorrow. More later. Love, Diane. Looking at the middle of the guide, there's a map and guide for each land of the park, starting with Main Street, USA, and working counterclockwise through the map. Most of the sections include a map, an image or two for the land, and the list of information and assistance, adventures and attractions, food and refreshments, services, free shows and exhibits, shops and stores, and a key for telephones, restrooms, and ticket booths. This 1966 summer map is the first map to include a section for New Orleans Square. At the time, no attraction had opened in the area, so Pirates of the Caribbean is listed as coming soon. And instead of a photo, there's a blue-tinted image of a concept art piece, as this map was likely approved and printed before New Orleans Square was complete. Both the Frontierland map and the New Orleans Square map have the Disneyland and Santa Fe Railroad listed as attractions. Another interesting note is that there is an icon for the Haunted Mansion included in the Frontierland section instead of the New Orleans Square section of the map. Of course, New Orleans Square would be the future home of the mansion. One of the other elements I noticed about this map that was similar to the 1964 map was the use of color for each land. The 1964 map used shades of green and gray for each land. This map, as well as future maps, even Disneyland maps of today, include a different color for each section. These colors were used in the general map of Disneyland, as well as for each land's 2-page spread. In this edition, the corresponding colors are blue for Main Street, USA, amber for Adventureland, pale blue for New Orleans Square, rust orange for Frontierland, gray for Fantasyland, and a light tan for Tomorrowland. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has Scottsdale Stadium with players on the baseball field. In the lower left-hand corner, it says, Spring Training, Scottsdale, Arizona, 2016. It's postmarked March 16, 2026, with a Phoenix, Arizona cancel and a 2 Sailboat Forever postcard postage stamp, Scott number 5747. It reads, 14 March 2026, Talking Stick Resort, Scottsdale, Arizona. Clocky and Misty, greetings from the patio at Talking Stick Resort and Casino. We are waiting for the shuttle to the ballpark, sitting in the shade, being serenaded by the boat-tailed grackles. They have a perfect echo chamber under the high rafters of the overhang. We'll see the Rockies lose to the Cubs this afternoon, then fly back tonight. This card is one Cliff bought in 2016. They used to print a spring training card for each year, but we couldn't find one in any place this year. No one writes cards anymore. Sad face, heart, exclamation point, C, and S. Thank you so much for the postcard, Cliff and Suzanne. It is a bummer that you couldn't find a spring training postcard at or near any of the ballparks. What a great way to commemorate and send some mail during the yearly event down in Arizona. Whenever I'm at a ballpark or near one, I look for a good postcard to send to baseball-loving friends. I'm excited to be at our local minor league ballpark to see the Giants play their AAA affiliate, the River Cats, tomorrow, Sunday, March 22nd, and hope to catch some more baseball the rest of the season. I have checked in the River Cats store. There isn't a River Cats postcard, so maybe I'll make a few to send out from West Sacramento later this year. Also, your prediction was wrong. The Rockies won over the Cubs 4-3. It was a split squad, so the other Rockies team did lose to the Brewers. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at sentfromdisneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.